Now, if what you were seeing doesn't hit you with the sense of nostalgia, I don't know what will, other than the fact that you're probably pretty young. Now, if you play any of the old classic Castlevania games from back in the day, then you feel right at home with this installment. That actually serves as a prequel to an even more bigger game that's coming out this month, and I'm talking about Ritual of the Night. And the cool thing about Ritual of the Night in this game is all part of a Kickstarter project from Koji Igarashi. For those of you who don't know who this man is, he is a man who produced countless Castlevania games during his time at Konami, before they lost their mind completely and fucked up as a company back in 2015. But I'm not here to talk about that, since that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make is that this game is for the hardcore fans who grew up playing Castlevania on the NES, like Dracula's Curse for example. While Ritual of the Night is being served as the main dish, Curse of the Moon will be the appetizer until the game release. But the question is, will it be more than an appetizer? Well, stick around and find out.
There was once a man who had been given the moon's curse by demons. That man was Angetsu. Wrapped in a crimson garb with eyes like fire, he relentlessly pursued the demons who cursed him. As he journeyed from one pit of darkness to another, he would stop at nothing until he had struck down every last demon in his path.
Who the hell wants to read all that shit? Let me give you all the short version, alright? You see, Zangetsu was a dude who's on a solo mission to take down a head demon in charge that's responsible for all the darkness and chaos out there in the world. And on a side note, he's cursed as well. Throughout his journey, he has the option to form a party with the other characters if he chooses to or not, because whatever decision he makes will reflect in the end game of the story, but I'll talk more about that in a bit. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is an adventure game that paid homage to old school games such as Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, where you fight through waves of enemies to get from point A to point B, with this 8-bit style of graphics that'll take you back to the old days of the NES. Now, as far as game design goes, there are two ways of playing this game, which is casual and veteran. Now, if you remember how hard Castlevania was in the NES, that's basically what veteran is, and I'm talking about knockback and losing lives to the point you actually want to scream. Wait a minute, that's not right. I'm sorry, I really had to. But all jokes aside, it's really not that hard if you're a seasoned vet. Now, casual is for the casual gamers who want to enjoy the game with less bullshit to worry about as far as knockback goes. And plus, you have a limited amount of lives to keep on pushing. Now, when it gets to the exploration side of the game, the stages themselves have great level design with different routes you can take. Some of which are shortcuts and some of which are a bit longer. But if it's one thing about these different routes, it all adds into the replay value of the game. Now, as far as how combat flows, it's pretty simple. You fight through a wave of enemies to rack up points and keep it moving. What I like about Curse of the Moon in comparison to the old Castlevania games is its points and sub-weapons and magic. Instead of collecting hearts for points, you collect bottles for those points, and those hearts are actually used for health. But everything else about this game design, it is as if you're playing a Castlevania game. Throughout the beginning of the game, you play as Zangetsu, a well-balanced character who is quick in taking down enemies. He also uses 3 different types of sub-weapons, such as a ball and chain that whips upward, magic charms that deals damage to anyone near it, and demon essence that enhances his attack power. And after he kills the first 3 bosses and someone is free from them, he has a choice to do 3 things. He can have a party of the 3 characters with him, kill all 3 of them to harness their power, or he can just completely ignore them and go solo, all of which will reflect on the game's ending. However, if you do plan to partner up with 3 other characters, it will be an experience similar to Dracula's Curse. The only thing this time is that the characters can switch on the fly with a pressable button, and it doesn't take that long either. As for the other characters, Miriam is a woman with stars on her body who uses a whip when killing her enemies. Now, to her advantage, she can jump higher than any of the characters can, and she can slide under small spaces, getting her access to valuable places other characters couldn't. Now, Alfred is an alchemist who specializes in creating powerful magic. However, he is weak as hell when it comes to physical damage. But that's okay, because his magic makes up for it, because he can cast a flame shield, freezes enemies on the fly, and casts a lightning homing attack that is pretty powerful. And he can cast a clone of himself, which I really don't care for. And G-Bell, well, he's basically Alucard from Dracula's Curse. And that's about it. But since we got that out the way, on a side note, if one of your characters dies, you will not see them again until after you beat the boss, or the entire party dies completely. But on the bright side, dying with one character isn't so bad. At least you have to worry about starting from the beginning of the level. And I'm looking at you, Ninja Gaiden. But don't let that fool you, cause it's better to keep your allies alive. Not only do some characters have access to areas others don't, if you lose that valuable character, that means you have to take longer routes to get to the next location, which means fighting more enemies and more challenges you have to face. Now we got that out the way, let's talk about the boss battles. Now the boss battles in this game are the highlight in my opinion. They may not be much of a challenge like the old games before it, but I can assure you they is fun as hell to fight against. And also, what I really appreciate about the boss battles, once you beat them, they don't go down as easily. They will find a way to take you out with them as a last resort, to keep you on your toes. Welcome to the segment called Static Hot Takes, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So after I killed Gromori, she turned into a ball of darkness that consumes Zangetsu as he protected his allies. Now in my mind, I thought that was cool and brave. However, on the flip side, when we had to face Zangetsu again in his corrupted form, I wasn't disappointed in the fact that we had to kill this dude in order to save the world. I'm disappointed in the fact that I don't even know what the hell is going on over here. Did he die that went on to heaven? Or another game, cause this is definitely on some Mega Man 2 type of vibes. And bad enough, all 6 of the endings don't do the game justice either, cause they're all bittersweet as fuck. But you know what else is gonna be bad? I can already tell that some people are going to criticize this game for being their carbon copy of Castlevania. They're gonna say things like, the gameplay structure is the same, the enemy patterns are the same, and how you find secrets and such are the same. So we're going to pretend that Ninja Gaiden didn't do the same. But since we're talking about Ninja Gaiden, how can this game be a carbon copy of Castlevania when you can steal abilities that make Zangetsu run faster as if he's Ryu Hayabusa? But let me tell you this, you want to know what Curse of the Moon got in comparison to the old games? Extra content. And I know it's unfair for me to say that because it's 2 different eras, but when you beat an old Castlevania game, you don't get no extra content. You start all over from the beginning and it repeats itself. This game, however, not only do you get a nightmare mode, you also get an ultimate mode with Zangetsu's abilities, including his allies. What more can you ask for really? For the price of $9.99, shit, you can't even beat that. And for my final point, one thing I love about this game, the soundtrack is hella dope. Here, take a listen. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is a great game for Castlevania fans and old school gamers alike. But after everything is said for the pros and cons, for the pros, we have a retro style gameplay for the old school gamer, 4 awesome characters to play as, great amount of replay value, an awesome soundtrack, and extra content. And for the cons, I have nothing negative to say about the game at all. You are getting a lot more than you paid for, and I don't have a problem with that. If I were to give this game a rating, I'll give it a 10 out of 10.